responsible for being so irresponsible, wicked, and cruel. We need leaders and representatives in Point Fortin. We need leaders and representatives with a heart. If there's a parent living in my district who cannot afford to send a child to school, that makes me poorer. If there's an elderly person who has to prioritize between paying a bill and buying medication, it bothers me, even if that person is not my grandparent. My aim is to use my services, education, vision, and heart to improve my community to create a better Captiville Fanny Village where residents can enjoy a better way of life, better infrastructure, and people-centered development. I am here to be the voice for those who do not have a voice in my community. I will be the voice for single mothers because I know what it means to be put in a position where I can no longer put food on the table for my child with no fault of mine. I will be the voice for young men who are now unemployed because I too know how it feels to not have a job and have bills to be paid. I have been there. Give me the opportunity to represent you, and with the help of Almighty God, I will not let you down. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome your candidate for Mondesi, Derek Boren.
Good night to everyone. Good night to our political leader who's on the way, my member of parliament, Dr. Lakram Bodo, my fellow candidates for both Point Fortin and Siparia General Corporation, and you, my brothers and sisters. A pleasant good night to you all. You know, I want to jog all the memory a little bit. You remember in 2015, a woman told you all that the PNM had no plan. You all remember that? Did she lie to you? Are you all better off now than you were then? All right. So, let me make a bit of a reality check to you all. Let me tell you something. We need to go and vote. We just quarrel. We all can actually find not to go and vote. And that has been my message throughout this campaign. UNC people, go and vote. I went to the ID card office here to pick up buy some documents. And I see an old lady, she can't walk, but she went to make sure her name was there. And then we get quiet, right? I want to urge you all to please don't find excuses not to go and vote. This is the mother of all elections, you know. And I want you to understand something. Local elections are very important elections. Don't assume that you don't need to go and vote because, well, that ain't nothing. What them do is clean train. That is not the reality of it. You all need to get off your butts and go and vote. And vote for United National Congress. In Otaheite, we have Javid Mohammed, a young man of tremendous quality and class. In Siparia West, we have Mr. Jason Ali, who's going to beat the illustrious best councillor, Maurice Alexander. You know, because it's strange, eh? If you have the best councillor, why are you walking up and down the road with him for? He can tell his own story. But they're walking up and down with him, so that means they weren't scared. That means we're doing the right things. Point 14, how much we taking? 6. Because you only could do that if you come and vote for them. Eh? That's the only reason. So my message to you all of you who listen to me, who on radio, wherever, come out and vote. Nobody can vote for you. You had our political leaders suffering because she begged all you. She tell her, you know, and then listen. Are they going to play deaf again? Are you all going to be deaf again? What we going to do on the second? For who? Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Na, 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 na.
UNC Work Nation, let's welcome your candidate for I.A.N, Jaikishan Dukran.
Na, 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 na. Everybody must work.
Political leader and leader of the opposition, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, members of the Senate, members of the House of Representatives, National Executive, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, UNC family, good night. A special good night to the burgesses of I.A.N. During my walkabout through the villages that make up the electoral district of I.A.N, the communities continue to face the same problem throughout. In Salazar Trace, in Chatham, in Shaman Village, in Buenos Aires, in I.A.N, in Losiro, in Carapal, in Rancho, in Los Bajo, and throughout the electoral district of I.A.N, the same. Neglect, neglect, neglect. Total neglect under this P&M councillor. We have bad roads, no water, flooding, abandonment of recreational facilities, lack of upkeep of community centers. Ladies and gentlemen, after 30 years of consecutive P&M councillors making decisions for I.A.N, I.A.N is in total shambles. Imagine, we have a water plant in Carapal, but the people living up the hill over the water plant cannot get water. Where the representation? Rancho Quemado Community Center, and I saw 500 feet away from the MP's office. She could stand in a yard and see it, but yet she neglects the people of Rancho Quemado. Ladies and gentlemen, for years the community have pleaded with her for renovation, but yet she neglects them. This P&M government neglected the children of Chatham. They abandoned the school for 4 years, and now the children still go to school in Point 14. They take buses to get an education. When we neglect our children, ladies and gentlemen, we neglect our future. Petrotrin, the legacy which built our country. This wicked P&M government shut it down. They did not care about the community who lived and made a living and took care of their families. The shops and parlors, the roti shop, the food establishment, the people who sell food out of the kitchen, the car wash, the barber shop. These people's lives were all affected with the closure of Petrotrin. Ladies and gentlemen, they did not care about Petrotrin and they do not care about I.A.N. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to fix I.A.N. We need to get working again. Forget the P&M and the old talk. On December 2nd, come out and vote for me and let's get I.A.N working again. I will work with you to fix I.A.N. Ladies and gentlemen, talk done.
Na 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 na. Everybody must work.
Let's welcome your candidate for Sidras, Shankar Tiloksing.
Na 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 na. Everybody must work.
Good evening, UNC soldiers. Are you ready? As we say, we spell the victory, but we have victory in hand. Honorable political leader of the United National Congress and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, pleasant good evening. Members of the head table, our MP for Faizabad, the Honorable Lakrambodo, members of the Senate, the Honorable Tahaka Obika, and others, our winning candidates for Point 14 and the Siparia Regional Corporation, good evening. As your councillor for Sidras have been battling and facing the disaster from Ikaka straight up to the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, highlighting the issues in terms of our natural disasters in Bamboo landslide, right where the candidates living, he can't even fix that landslide for the P&M. They come down there with their entourage and we're still waiting for resources to fix that disaster. Rising sea levels, Roland Sinanan, because that demand control the land right through where all the P&M projects go. We have problems in terms of fixing the infrastructure and roads. They must go. We look at the fire station issue, the non-existence of terrace, the Alsing, and also a man they call Robert Lahant, who run in Sidras and feels Sidras is his. but let them know it's the people, and Cedros will always be under the rising sun. But I want to let them know, over the past 4 years, the biggest disaster we face is Rowley and his wicked ministers. And they must go, they must go, they must go. I want to let you know, on December 2nd, at 0600 hours, come out in your numbers, line the polling station from Rosilak, going straight into Siparia, every single polling station straight to Ikakas. We must have lines and come out and vote for your UNC candidate and ensure that we get back in the corridors of power, carrying representation at the highest level, and send Rowley and his wicked PNM out of office. Rowley must get out of the Prime Minister's office and put a Prime Minister in holding the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Long live you, the UNC members. Long live the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Long live. God bless you as we go forward. Talk done.
Candidate for Tishe Village Guapo, Mr. Brent Clark.
UNC family, good night to Kamla Persad-Bissessar, good night to the head table. Tonight, I am from Tishe Guapo, a community that was handed over by oil companies to the people of Point Fortin. All the PNM had to do was maintain and develop. Now it's turning into ruins. Houses are abandoned. The sewer system is collapsed in many areas. Imagine you have a community that was handed over to you and now sewage is flowing into the drains of the residents of the area. Point Fortin people has never been represented by the United National Congress. Get that clear. When we walk about, they say that all parties the same. Point Fortin has never been represented by the United National Congress, and the Borough Corporation has never been represented by any other party other than the People's National Movement. If it was represented by the United National Congress, we would not have been complaining about bad roads, loss of jobs, poverty, destruction of our infrastructure. None of that would have been talking about. In my community, Tishe Guapo, every one of the play parks, every one of the savannah has lighting problems. And that was handed over in perfect condition by the United National Congress. And they are getting the work done. That is how they describe their performance. Destruction in everything that they do. They touch it, in a few minutes, it's just gone. Look at the jobs in Point Fortin, gone. It's slowly be turning a slum. Every area is represented by the People's National Movement, has high crime, has bad infrastructure. There's always something negative flowing through there. Look at the areas represented by United National Congress. I am asking my communities to look at that. Action speaks louder than words. That is what's taking place. That is the basic reality of Trinidad and Tobago. UNC works, PNM talks. Basic, full stop. That is that. In my community, we had a fledgling pan side throughout Point Fortin and higher up going up Starland. Now, if you take a look at Starland, you're seeing a few people struggling. Our mayor doesn't even know the color of the pan shed. They were being victimized. Imagine they were being victimized for taking a neutral position in the general election. Ladies and gentlemen, Starland, I am going to work with you on the aims and direction that you want to go. I'm going to find the best way possible for us to work together and get things done. Gonzal, I'm going to work with you all and get those roads fixed, create opportunities and make things happen. The UNC does that. Cochrane, I am coming there and I'm going to help make things work in that community of Point Fortin and Tishe Guapo. No place would be neglected. Simple roads are under problems. Ladies and gentlemen, talk done. UNC taking it.
Welcome, Jasta Gitton.
Good night. Good night to everyone. Greetings to my fellow candidates and our wonderful leader and next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. It is my pleasure to be here tonight representing the United National Congress as the youngest candidate here. Anyone here can tell you how great it is to be a part of the United National Congress. Many has asked, why Jasta, coming from a PNM household, joined the UNC? And I turned to each one. I said proudly and confidently, I chose to join the UNC because UNC is the only party that has a vision and the only party that always had a plan. The UNC is the only hope to clean up the mess and restore stability to Trinidad and Tobago after the PNM has sold us out and made a complete mess of Trinidad and Tobago. Their track record is spectacular when it comes to deliverance and progress. The PNM could lie. The PNM could thief. They can blame Kamla for their incompetence for as long as they live. But what they could never do is match the UNC's performance and their stride they made impacting lives. I am representing Brighton Destiny, and the people of Labre and environs has suffered dearly by the hands of the PNM. This has been a neglected community under the PNM. Each year gets worse, and finally it has reached a point where it has been truly and significantly proven that the PNM is a complete failure. They have failed to carry out their duties. They have failed to carry out their duties to ensure a better life for the people of Labre. Dilapidated roads, no drainage, no beach facilities, no library, no courthouse, and many of the things that the youths need to develop themselves. So tonight I'm going to tell everybody from Chinese Village to Parilan Lot 10, vote UNC, vote me, December the 2nd. December the 2nd, I want everybody to come out and vote UNC. Thank you.
Your candidate for Hollywood, let's welcome Maximus Trotman.
Everybody must work.
Thank you. Good night to the Honorable Leader, Ms. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who's on her way. Good night to members of the head table, the Member of Parliament for Faizabad, Senator, and all the other winning candidates of the Siparia and Point 14 corporations. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have always said when we start our meetings, the winds of change are blowing across Point 14. We are going to surprise you. Come the 3rd of December, Point 14 will have a UNC corporation and UNC councillors in that house in Point 14. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to focus tonight on primary school education in Point 14. The reason why I want to do that is because I want to show you how wicked this PNM government is. Listen, in Point 14, during the months of August and September, it is the most traumatic months for mothers in Point 14. Simply because there are not enough places for 5-year-old children in primary schools in Point 14. Every year, between 75 to 100 children
have to go back to preschool because there are not enough places. Now, we have this situation existing for over 10 years, and it could have been worse. It could have been worse if not for the People's Partnership Government under the leadership of Ms. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Let me tell you something. During the period 2014, 2013, 2010 to 2015, I was at the Egypt Village Government and after I spoke to him about the condition of our school, within 1 year, a brand new Egypt Village Government School was built. So therefore we were able to house a lot more children in Point 14. The Captiville Government School was built and delivered again also within another year. Also the Chatham Government School, as was mentioned previously, was 95% complete. But you know what? They have not opened that school. But for the last 4 years, they are transporting children, paying a maxi to make 3 trips morning and evening to bring them to a preschool that the UNC government built in Southern Gardens in Point 14. Now, if you do the maths, that school could have been completed already and open for the children of Chatham. But they are so wicked, they prefer to leave the school closed and suffer the children. And this is why we must go out and vote for the United National Congress on the 2nd of December.
Everybody must work. Work hard.
Let me tell you, the PNM's attempt at rectifying the situation in Point 14 was in 2007. You have to let the bats fly past. All right. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the PNM attempts in Point 14 was to start a school in Fanny Village, which they place in the middle of a dam. We have $38 million worth of infrastructure sinking in the mud in Fanny Village, and the children are cooped in containers and a community center in Fanny Village. That is PNM style for you. That is getting it done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying to you and the people of Point 14, the people of Fanny Village are very, very fed up of this situation. So we have to get rid of the PNM. We have to come out and vote for the United National Congress in Point 14. If we want education, we say the UNC gets it done, all the PNM do is talk. So at this point in time, we say talk, done.
Let's welcome your representative for Palo Seco, Fimba Small.
Everybody must work.
Political leader, good night, is on the way here. Head table, good night. UNC family, welcome. I'm Fimba Small, representing the electoral district of Palo Seco. Looking forward for our victory on December 2nd. I'm dealing with the grassroots at Palo Seco and environs. Since the closure petition, my community have been struggling to come day to day with day-to-day living. It has been a hard fight to survive. Everything closing down in this community, from grocery to parlor to eating place, even taxi drivers having a hard time making it end means. Now is the time. The winds of change is taking place in this country, and under this
political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, we're going to make it happen again, once and for all. It's time to get this country working again. I'm prepared and able to take on the task that I get elected to represent my community in the Siparia Regional Corporation as your first UNC councillor in Palo Seco, going to take effect this time in here. I'm telling you, I am feeling it. The winds of change is taking effect. The people are crying out, they are bawling out, enough is enough. The time has come for change, and we'll change it today, once and for all. UNC, let's get it done now. Thank you.
UNC Work Nation, let's welcome Siparia West, Faizabad, Jason Ali.
Everybody must work.
Good night to our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who is on the way, to our MP, Dr. Lakram P. Bodo, and all of our candidates who are seated here on our stage. I am Jason Ali, your candidate for the electoral district of Siparia West, Faizabad. Come Monday, the 2nd of December, we don't have a choice, my brothers and sisters. We have one thing to do, and that is to go out in your polling stations and vote solidly for the United National Congress. When I walk through my electoral district of Siparia West, Faizabad, imagine you're walking on a pavement and you must slip off the pavement because the pavement is sideways. What kind of representation is that we have in Siparia Regional Corporation by my serving councillor? And I can tell you one thing, come Monday, he will not be in the Siparia Regional Corporation again. He will see Siparia Regional Corporation from the pavement. My brothers and sisters, in Siparia West, Faizabad, we need to vote, my brothers and sisters, for proper representation. We need to vote, my brothers and sisters, for a councillor who will serve you, my brothers and sisters. Our country is slipping down a slope, and there's only one person who can bring back this country, pull back Trinidad and Tobago up that hill, and that is our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. My brothers and sisters, we must stand firm in Siparia West, Faizabad. We must stand strong in Siparia West, Faizabad. And I can tell each and every one of you seated here today, each and every one of you listening on the radios, each and every one of you watching on the television, on the night of December the 2nd, 2019, the flag of the United National Congress will rise in Siparia West, Faizabad once more. We serve a party that works for you. We serve a party that fights for you. We serve a party that will stand for you. And I say now, vote for the United National Congress. Talk done.
UNC Work Nation, let's welcome your candidate for Siparia East, San Francisco South, Ramona Victor.
Everybody must work.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, UNC family. It is indeed my pleasure to be in the company of such fine people this evening, and more so in the company of my political leader, which is our political leader, which is the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. We are just mere days away from the 2nd of December local government election. The onus is on us so that our party reigns supreme. The onus is on us to go out and get victory. We must go out in our communities, encourage our friends, our neighbors, our relatives to come out and vote for the UNC. If we want betterment in life, a comfortable life, we must vote for the UNC. If we want to set the stage for a proper standard of living for ourselves and for our children, we must vote for the UNC. If we want the doors of opportunity to open upon us, we must. If we want to feel a sense of safety and security, what we must do? If we want service in our communities to be more accessible, competent, and efficient, what we must do? If we want people-oriented and caring governance, what we must do? This election, ladies and gentlemen, we must come together in our numbers to show the present PNM administration a sign of things to come in the upcoming 2020 election. Our victory in this local government election will definitely be a clear indication of what is to come. With all the hard work put in by my fellow candidates and their teams, we know that the UNC party will rise again. I am positive and confident that come the 3rd of December 2019, that Siparia Regional Corporation will be singing a joyful song. Let's get TNT working together again. God bless you and good night.
UNC Work Nation, local government elections 2019. Let's welcome for Newlands, Mahika, I.A.N. Joseph.
Everybody must work.
Pleasant good night to UNC family. UNC family! Yes, that is what we're talking about. I stand here tonight, UNC and proud. Anybody else UNC and proud? For years and years, we've been told lies, we've been misled about UNC. Since my coming into UNC is love, UNC is unity, UNC is work, and we will get TNT working again. Now my name is I.A.N. Joseph, the next councillor for Newlands, Mahika, under the UNC in Point 14. I want to spread a little rumor to all you up in Rosilak here. The rumor in Point 14 is that the stronghold is now a pothole in Point 14. No more stronghold. We're taking that borough to the United National Congress. And let me tell all you, the very few that's still saying we're red and ready. Let me tell all you what you're going to be ready for. All you're going to be ready to pee all your bed when we take that borough on December the 2nd in Point 14. Yeah, we come in. Now when Point 14, they call me Mr. Class. And I earned the name Mr. Class through a variety of events I brought to the Point 14 Borough Corporation. One of my greatest achievements was a Juve Ban in the Point 14 Borough celebrations, where we started with only 150 people, and today the Juve Ban reached 3,000 masqueraders. My aim is to take that drive and push it behind the borough celebrations and create a bigger cultural activity in Point 14, because the PNM has stifled the borough. They stifling the cultural activities in Point 14. And we, the UNC, will get that working again. Yeah, we will get it working again. Let me give you a little joke. The other night, they had a mass meeting in Point 14 by Victor Chinkit Park. The PNM are talking about when people pass by the park, they don't know if the meeting start or if it finish. It hardly are people. No more stronghold in Point 14. The stronghold in a pothole. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you all to encourage your family, encourage your friends. I see my Point 14 squad up in Rosilac representing on December 2nd. Or let we come out early in the morning. Let we get PNM an early headache. Let them see that Point 14 Borough is now a united National Congress Borough. And before I go, I was a PNM. I must admit, I was a PNM. And let me tell you, one good thing the PNM good for. They could talk, they just talk, and they just talk. But let them know that talk. Thank
you very much. Your candidate for Otahiti, Rosilac, let's welcome Javid Mohammed.
Honorable political leader who is on her way, members of the head table, UNC family, good evening to all. Are you ready to get TNT working again? Are you ready for the change that is coming to our great party? Brothers and sisters, I am Javid Mohammed, your UNC candidate and future councillor for the electoral district of Otahiti, Rosilac. Brothers and sisters, I am here tonight as a young candidate to offer myself for service and representation after seeing the absolute chaos our nation has been descending into under this Rowley regime. By me standing here is proof that the UNC and our leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, believes in young people and not only talk the talk, but walk the walk. Brothers and sisters, this is not an ordinary election. This is not just another local government election that we can afford to stay home and miss. This, my brothers and sisters, is not an ordinary election. This is not an ordinary election because these are not ordinary times. These are dark times, and our nation continues to see the light of progress and development to become dimmer and dimmer with each passing day under this wicked Rowley regime. But fear not, the rising sun of the UNC will rise and shine its light of development over all of us. Brothers and sisters, let me remind you of how spiteful the PNM is. The Rosilac Hindu school that is 75% completed has been left abandoned by this incompetent government. Started under the UNC-led government because UNC always recognized that education is the only way to a brighter future for your children. In addition, brothers and sisters, I want to speak about the Rosilac Recreation Ground. This ground was initially lighted up by a UNC-led government. Then 3 of the 6 lights were removed to extend the ground to make it into a multi-purpose complex. However, NIDCO did not complete the task in the time under this government, and it remains another unfinished project up until today. Now the PNM and Rowley, with its election gimmicks, come to tell us here to try and take credit for those lights that was first installed by we, the United National Congress. What the PNM and Rowley should have been fixing was all the massive potholes along the road right here in Rosilac. PNM gave you Nicole, and now they want to give you Annan? Say no to Annan, no to the PNM, never no to Iti Rosilac. Brothers and sisters, as your UNC counselor at the Siparia Regional Corporation, I have innovative plans to transform Iti Rosilac. Visit my office or my social media platforms to learn more about them. I am here to offer you a choice between me, Javed Mohammed, and no other. In fact, I am the only choice to take this electoral district forward for the next 3 years. So come out and vote me, Javed Mohammed, and the United National Congress on December 2nd as we get TNT working again. Remember, brothers and sisters, your vote doesn't just count, it matters. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the political leader of the UNC is here. Let's welcome Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Live in Siparia, Russia.
As a nation, as a people, we are so great. A collective manifestation of love over hate. We deserve to be the best that we could be. Through the hills, valleys, and plains of TNT. As a nation, as a people, we strive to thrive. A united tribe that keep hopes and dreams alive. We deserve to be the best that we could be. Through the hills, valleys, and plains
The biggest crowd in political life in Siparia.
nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, UNC Work Nation Local Government Elections 2019. Let's once again welcome the political leader of the United National Congress live in Siparia. And let's welcome the MP for Faizabad. Let's welcome Dr. Lakram Bodo.
Everybody must work.
The political leader of the United National Congress, the leader of the opposition, and the best Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. My parliamentary colleagues, Senator Tahaka Obika, candidates for the Siparia Regional Corporation, candidates for the Point 14 Regional Corporation, members of NATEX, UNC family, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. UNC family, are you ready to take back Trinidad and Tobago? UNC family, are you ready for Kamla Persad-Bissessar to be your returning Prime Minister for Trinidad and Tobago? Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here in Rusilak, I want to ask you a few simple questions. Are you living a better life today than you were 4 years ago? Do your children have better opportunities today than they did 4 years ago? Are you receiving better health care today than you were receiving 4 years ago? That no can be before I finish the question. I understand what you're saying. I will deal with the failing healthcare system shortly. But first, let me ask, why is the PNM fighting tooth and nail to win this electoral district of Otahiti-Rosilak? Do you think that it is because they love you? No. Do you think it is because that they want to serve you? No. Do you think it is because they care about you? No. Of course not, ladies and gentlemen. They have no such intentions. They have one and only one reason why they want to take this electoral district, and that is to capture the Siparia Regional Corporation and to claim victory over Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. But I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you will never allow this to happen, correct? So now they are coming into your area, Prime Minister and all, rushing to fix roads and drains and giving you lights and other things, I'm told. Pavement on the road next to Bay Road is now being fixed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here tonight a letter which I wrote 4 years ago to the Minister of Works and Transport asking for that road, very same road at Bay Road, which is causing all this traffic to be fixed. And why it is, you have to ask yourself, why it is now, close to a local government election, that project is now being done. The same is true for the lights on the Happy Hill that the candidate for Otahiti-Rosilak mentioned earlier. There is no water in quarry in Siparia West, Faizabad. The candidate here, Jason Ali, will tell you that the residents of Quarry Village suffer. There is no water for the residents of Quarry, but yet the Minister of Public Utilities, who is the PNM coordinator, is virtually living in the constituency of Faizabad. So the question is, what is the problem? Ladies and gentlemen, when 3 ministers of government come to Siparia to unveil one street sign, and this happened a month ago, when 3 government ministers come to Siparia to unveil one new street sign, it tells you that the election is in the air. Yes, one street sign. And you know, they're building at such a frenzy that when they're building box train in Standard Road, again they're targeting Jason Ali in Siparia West Faizabad, they're building box train that the water have to travel upwards. This is what we have seen, ladies and gentlemen. They're rushing so much apace. As I came here tonight, there's a road that is being paved in Faizabad. And make no mistake, you know, I am very happy for all the residents of these areas to get something finally. But as I came here tonight, in the night, they're paving a road in a countries in Faizabad. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are facing. I just want to speak very briefly about what I call the politics of spite. And someone on the platform spoke about that earlier. And I just want to refer to a local government issue and then a national issue.
And the local government issue refers to a drain in Ramdas Trace in the Siparia West Faizabad electoral district, which is held by the PNM. Now they are rushing to do all kinds of things in that particular electoral district to try to retain that district. But do you know there was a drain in Ramdas Trace, which we've been asking for 4 years, and they have, for 4 years, and they have not done it. It took the work of one of the aldermen who had to squeeze and push and get the councillor for the area kicking and screaming to get that drain fixed for the residents of that area. So the national issue with regards to the politics of spite, ladies and gentlemen, is the issue of the Couva Children's Hospital. And this, ladies and gentlemen, the failure of this government to not open the Couva Hospital, well, okay, they opened a pharmacy in it after 4 years, but the failure of this government to not open the Couva Children's Hospital is going to go down as one of the greatest tragedies and one of the greatest atrocities imposed on the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, as you go to the San Fernando Hospital and you wait, and your loved ones are waiting for beds, and now that they're rebuilding the central block in Port of Spain, and again, I'm happy for that, that is fine, but it means that all those patients now, many of them have to be transferred for San Fernando. Can you imagine the grief in these patients and their relatives when they leave Port of Spain and they leave Mount Hope and they're driving on the highway and they look to the left and they see a brand new hospital that they know has 230 beds and equipment not being used, and they have to reach down to San Fernando to wait in the corridor and wait on beds and wait for drugs and supplies. Ladies and gentlemen, and as we talk about drugs and supplies, I just want to draw to your attention, I think it's important to know this. In the budget documents presented a few months ago in the budget debate, and allow me to congratulate the leader of the opposition for that excellent budget response. That she delivered. People are still talking about it. It's visionary. But I just want to point out one thing, and I always keep an eye on this item under the Ministry of Health, and that item is the issue of drugs and supplies. And that line item, ladies and gentlemen, is the allocation of money that will ensure that when you go to the health center, when you go to the hospital, that you will get the drugs and supplies. You will get the bandages, you will get the tablets and so on. So in 2019, ladies and gentlemen, I want to quote this figure, 575,162,200. So just under $600 million was spent, not allocated, spent in 2019. In the 2020 budget, guess how much they allocate? So 575 million spent in 2019. So in 2020, guess how much they allocate? 600 million? It should go up, right? Because it have more needs. 650 million? Let me give you the figure, ladies and gentlemen. The allocation in the budget for 2020 was $144,200,000. Ladies and gentlemen, this represents a shortfall of some $400 million. That must have all of us very scared, very frightened. And when in the Standing Finance Committee, we asked the question of the Minister of Health as to why there was such a cut, such a large cut, he himself could not answer, because I believe that he was not happy with that large cut, because he knows the effect it's going to have on the delivery of goods and services in the health sector. So he asked the Minister of Finance to answer the question. Well, I don't have to tell you what kind of answer you get. We're still waiting for that answer. But I also want to make the point, and I ask this question here tonight, whether that $400 million is being used for other purposes. I say no more. But we see the blitz of PNM advertisements on the TV and the media. You can't change your station, right? Because you're getting ads and ads and ads and ads and ads upon each other. So ladies and gentlemen, you know, sometimes our memory is short. What did Kamla Persad-Bissessar do for the health sector? That health sector is now failing. She built the San Fernando Teaching Hospital. Visionary transformation. Visionary transformation of a car park that has become a hospital with now 240 additional beds. she introduced 24-hour service at the Siparia District Health Facility. A new health center was built in Palo Seco. And you know, when I was chairman of Southwest, they came to me and they said, you know, Chairman, we're building a new health center in Palo Seco. That is all right? I said, I mean, how you mean that is all right? This government and this leader provides for everybody. They tell me Palo Seco is in Labre. I say, no. I say, that don't matter. I say, that don't matter. Then management come and say they want to refurbish Point 14 Health Center. The old health center, you all know in Point 14, the main street. They say that is okay. I say, how you mean that is okay? The people of Point 14 deserve the very best under this government. We'll give it to them. And of course, it was Kamla Persad-Bissessar who turned that sod in July of 2015 for the Point 14 Hospital, which they are struggling to build. I'm not sure they will complete it. But you, the power is in your hands to make sure that hospital is completed. Because next year when the election call, you make sure and you put the UNC back in government and you know that you will get that hospital in Point 14. So ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I want to tell you here tonight that on Monday, December 2nd, we will beat them in the north in the Siparia Regional Corporation. Do not mirror who will beat them in Avocat San Francisco North and Derek Boren and Mondesi. We will beat them in the east with Ramona Victor for Siparia East. We will beat them in the south with Jai Kishan Dukran for I.A.N and Finba Small for Palo Seco. And we will beat them in the west coming up from Cedras with Shankar Tilak Singh. Dasta Gittins in Brighton Bessini, and of course our own Javed Mohammed here for Otahiti Rosilak. And as you heard from the candidates for Point 14 tonight, we are going to take the Point 14 Borough Corporation. It's going to be under the UNC. So brothers and sisters, on December 2nd, Monday, just a mere 2 days ago, you have here candidate Javed Mohammed for a seat that is being keenly contested. You have a young, energized candidate. You have one who is caring and courageous. Good track record of public service. He's a gentleman who knows you. He knows you and he knows your community inside out. He's a true servant of the UNC. I ask you to give him a chance to be a true servant of you, the people of Otahiti Rosilak. So come Monday, 2nd of December, vote Javed Mohammed and all the other candidates on the stage here tonight. Keep the Siparia Regional Corporation in the safe hands of the UNC and take the Point 14 Borough Corporation. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because while the PNM talks, the UNC works. Talk done. Thank you very much.
Everybody must work.
Good night. Good night to the people of Grassroots Junction, Rosila. Good night to the political leader of the United National Congress and the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Good night to the MP for Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodo. A son of your soil right here, the party organizer, Ravi Ratiram. The next councillor for Otahiti, Rosilak, Javed Mohammed. The winning Siparia Regional Corporation councillors. A round of applause for them all. I bring greetings, I bring good vibrations, I bring positive messages for the people of Point Fortin to you tonight. Point Fortin and Siparia, this is your time. Never before have you had a decision to make like December the 2nd come Monday. In Point Fortin, you have the best chance, the best set of candidates in the history of the Borough Corporation in the stable of the United National Congress. We have Eula Roslyn Kador for Egypt. Herself, the Vice President of the Market Vendors Association, fighting for the rights of the vendors in Point Fortin. We have Brent Clark, a former national athlete, a businessman, a community organizer, a youth development man for Tishe Guapo. Keisha Grant, she might be soft-spoken, herself an entrepreneur and also involved in cancer awareness and developing young people in Point Fortin. For Captiville Fanny Village. For Newlands Mahaika, you have Aaron Change for Point Joseph. He created a movement called Change for Point Fortin, where persons in Point Fortin across every single walk of life are realizing that it's time to shake off the yoke of the PNM and bring on the rising sun of the United National Congress. And in the Borough Corporation, we have New Village, Remington Clarkson. And of course, the man himself, the principal, Maximus Trotman, for the Electoral District of Hollywood. You see, the Southwest Peninsula never saw development in its history like it has seen under the leadership of Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And a tree must not only thank, but embrace its roots. So I also pay respects to my father himself, the former High Commissioner under Kamla Persad-Bissessar in Yahuma Obika. Right there in Vesini, you have the Labitco plant, the Mitsubishi plant. Because of that plant, people in Labre, Vesini, Rosilac, Aripero, Point Fortin have employment to look forward to. There were persons who lost their jobs in the Petrotrin closure when Trinmar closed down in Point Fortin. And it's because of the decisions of Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the Minister of Energy under her, Kevin Ramnarine, that we have the Mitsubishi plant in place that provided employment for many families still today. That is a testimony that the UNC works. That is a testimony that the UNC listens. The UNC recognized that the skill set of the people in the Southwest Peninsula wasn't about any smelter to come and poison and kill your children and to poison the water table. Chatham has one of the best water in the country. Chatham, never hear ya? Granville. Putting a smelter down there would have poisoned people down there, but Kamla Persad-Bissessar understood the skills that the people had. And so you have Mitsubishi plant, they're still providing jobs for you today. Also, We had the National Energy Skills Centers in Palo Seco, in Point 14 in Mahaica, and in Vecini. Under Keith Rowley, they closed down the Energy Skills Center in Palo Seco. They closed down the Energy Skills Center in Point 14. They closed down the one in Maruga and all. The only reason why the one in Vecini closed down is because Mitsubishi, the same company that Kamla Persad-Bissessar ensured be there, insisted that the skills center in the old Vecini High School remain open so that they could train persons in the community to prepare themselves for the jobs in the plant. But of course, that is because the UNC works. The PNM could talk, you know. They could talk, real talk. Keith Rowley went to Siparia and said he's going to make them a borough. But he didn't want to tell them that he spite them when he prevented the highway from going through Siparia from Debe, through Siparia, through Faizabad to connect in Mondesi. That is spite and wickedness. Telling them about the highway is only to reach Point 14. How you reach to Point 14? You will fly. You have to connect the major towns and villages along the way. That is of course, because Keith Rowley and the PNM don't even understand what South means. They discard South. South don't matter to them. But the UNC understands not just South, but North. The political leader has been holding mass crowds across the length and breadth of this country. The only thing the PNM getting done on this southern main road is to dig up and mash up and have potholes every single place. I'm sure many of you driving either you own a car, you're in a taxi, in a maxi. Before the driver put on the music, you're hearing music because the shocks bust. No shocks in the vehicle. The car shaking up. The PNM truck playing, we getting it done. But when they're playing that, the shocks bust. The truck nearly mash up. But how are they getting it done and the road air paved? How are they getting it done and they don't have water? How are they getting it done and you can't have gate access for persons going to tertiary education and hotel school and who want to study accounting? How can they be getting it done when thousands of persons have lost their jobs? When Petrotrin and Trinmar closed down? How could they be so shameful to say they're getting it done and come down to Palo Seco in the Siparia Corporation, the former headquarters in Santa Flora Petrotrin, and tell people about creating jobs? They should be ashamed of themselves. Under Kamla Persad-Bissessar, there was local economic development. So in the Siparia Corporation, in the Point 14 borough, and all the corporations of Trinidad, and even in Tobago, each local area created after mass consultation with every single councillor, community group, stakeholders, public servants, plans to develop their community. The largest development in terms of government infrastructure in this electoral district, Otahiti, Rosilak, is the highway. The largest. When the highway just reached Grassroots Junction, I used to take it to go to San Fernando, and there were hardly any businesses along that road. But now, if you take a drive from the southern main road to the bottom of the highway, on Grants Road, you're seeing business, hototo. That is development. That is what happens when you have a government that cares for you. I want to tell you something. The crime rate, the murder rate is very high. But instead of the Minister of National Security coming to Parliament to address crime, what he's coming to do is to insult members of Parliament. That is all he can do. When you have failed at your job, Stuart Young, when you should resign, when you should leave the job and give we a chance, you come in to Parliament to insult members of Parliament. We will leave that there. So, in Point 14, I was walking with the candidates.
There's a candidate who couldn't be here tonight for religious reasons. I will not say what they are. But I was walking with him in his community. And when we reached the house, it's in where I live actually, and the man giving trouble, he said, yes or no, PNM, the road bad, and no, is Kamla build the hospital, and no, Rowley closed down the skills center. But oh gosh, he's still trying to find a reason to support his grandfather's decision to vote for PNM. But he had a son in the house, 18 years old. And I asked him, what did your government do for you? He said, I got a laptop under anti-Kamla. I got a laptop. I said, did the laptop make you a dunce head like the MP for Labre say? He said, no, it helped me with my homework. When we were leaving the house, the father still trying to reconcile his grandfather's choice of the PNM. The son walked us out onto the street, touched us on the shoulder and said, I voting for UNC. Look, my phone number. There is nothing called a PNM house again. The young people are clear. Their decision, there is only one decision to make, to vote for the UNC. And I want to leave you with a personal story to show you how the PNM talks and the UNC works. He probably talk about daycare support for single mothers. But that's up to they reach age 3. What happens when they turn 3 years old and they have to go to preschool? My daughter turned 3, I carried her to the preschool, and I see the owner of the school turning parents away. She said, this one, they just have enough money to pay, but they don't have money to put food in the child bag. The next one, they don't have any money to pay, because they were accustomed to their cousins and children in their street getting free preschool education under Kamla Persad-Bissessar. So, I will leave you with that message. Talk done. PNM talks, talk done. UNC works. Vote for UNC. Vote for your future. And vote for Kamla Persad-Bissessar.
Work Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Let's rise and welcome the one and only political leader of the United National Congress. Let's welcome Kamla Persad-Bissessar, live in Siparia. UNC Work Nation, Local Government Election 2019.
Start back the work now. All the talk done, all the talk done. Work Nation! Fed up by these people, and worry about those blacks. And everything that they're doing wrong, they're trying to disguise. Always pointing fingers, never want to take the blame. Thank you very much. Go on and on, and we have to get it very much.
Let's get to work again, cause we're super.
Good night, Rosirak. Good night to my colleagues on the platform and off the platform. Good night, good evening to all those who are listening on the airwaves tonight. UNC family and friends, this is the UNC Work Nation here in the Siparia Corporation. I want to thank you for your continued support. I want to thank all the teams who have been working over the past several weeks Team Point Fortin, Team Siparia right here with us tonight. Members of the National Executive, members of the Siparia Corporation, Glenn is here, Chairman and team. I hear Penal Davis shouting. What about Princess Song? I say good night to you. Naparima, I say good night to you. All the South and Central persons are here with us. And somebody just sent me a text and they said, give a shout out to Barataria. So Sharon in Barataria, shout out to you up there. And throughout the country, I say good evening to all of you. So our candidates have been in the field, on the ground, they've been working really, really hard. And you heard from them tonight, all our candidates, I listened to them very carefully. And they told us why they chose to step forward to serve and the plans they have to build your communities. And you can see the mix of candidates we have on this platform. Not just here, but in every corporation. We have offered persons to serve. We have a mix of the young, the not so young, working well with my plan to marry youth with experience, to give young people a chance at leadership, to further empower them. And this is important because we must train and empower the next generation of leaders of the UNC and of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to remind you that it was right here in the Siparia Corporation I began my political journey, which was then the St. Patrick County Councillor. So I started as an alderman in a county council. So all candidates in every borough corporation, everywhere you are, in every regional corporation, you have the chance and the opportunity to reach to the highest level, starting from the soldier level, from the ground troops, you can rise up. And that's what the UNC is about. The UNC is to say, as Glenn used to say, is to give you a hand up, not a hand down. That's what our programs were about. That's what our policies were about. You know, I heard that man Rowley. He said, don't call him Rowley, but I think we could call him Rowley. I was in Diego Martin yesterday evening, and last night the people didn't want us to leave. We did the drive-thrus out throughout Diego Martin. And Dr. Rowley, I hear you coming down Siparia by the Siparia market, crying about Siparia Corporation and they're not working and the place is in a mess. Well, Dr. Rowley, Diego Martin was in a total mess when I passed through there yesterday. We have the pictures. One of the candidates with me on the truck, he said, oh my God, this is a shame that this is the constituency of a prime minister. The bush, the high grass, the rubbish lying in the streets, the potholes, the pavements, manhole uncovered. We have all the photographs. So Rowley, when you come to Siparia, you want to say Kamla is Siparia. Tonight I am taking Siparia. Siparia is Kamla. And Kamla is Siparia. I was born and bred in Siparia. I know Siparia. And Dr. Rowley, in case you did not know, the Siparia Corporation is made up of the constituencies of Labre. We are on the boundary here in Labre, made up of Faizabad, made up of Siparia, a few PDs, and stretching right down to where? Cedros. You think that is right? Could never be right. That is why when you came in Siparia to say you're going to have local government reform, you're going to make Siparia a borough, you hear a lie? That is a lie. That is a lie. You came in 2016 to Siparia. You all remember that? He said, I'm going to make Siparia a borough. 16 come and go on, 17, 18, 19. You come to lie to people again. It will be the UNC who will make Siparia a borough corporation when we form the next government. Rowley's not going to do that for us. As the other speakers told you, they don't even know where Siparia is. So he came in Tick Village there and walked about a little bit in Labre, down in the Labre end of Otaheru, and he think he's Siparia boy and he went in. They don't know. They can't see further than their noses and then stand on platforms to lie. I tell you here tonight that there is something in the air. It is an energy, it is a wave, a yellow wave sweeping the entire country. Wherever we've gone, we've been welcomed into homes with open arms. And so, I see them now looking for Siparia and looking for Otahiti Rusulak and looking down on your side in the Point Fortin borough. They come looking down here. You know, they come 4 times in the corporation, Siparia Corporation. 4 times. Well, you better go in your own backyard and Diego Martin because you have a surprise that is going to come to you. They are so misinformed. They are so misinformed. So, UNC family and friends, we will work hard. We will do our best to help improve lives. That is what I dedicated my time in politics to do. And I will continue to make that dedication, that I will continue to dedicate my life to improve the lives of others. You have been telling us you have suffered for too long under this oppressive, rowdy government. I know you are ready to take back TNT, take back your country. I know you are ready with me to get TNT working again. We have a significant task ahead of us, but I have confidence in our teams. I have confidence in the people of our land, and I know that together we can work to transform Trinidad and Tobago. Tomorrow, you may remember, November 30, 2019, marks a very sad anniversary. It marks the 1-year anniversary, tomorrow, November 30, of the closure of Petrotrin and the sending home, the loss of jobs of thousands of workers. I want you to let them know that all of you who were sent home, you have not forgotten what they did to you and to your families. And we must never, ever, ever let them forget. Let them know that that flame at the refinery went out. That was a landmark, that was a flagship, that was a legacy, not just for the Southland, but it was a legacy and a flagship for the entire nation. That flame that went out in Pointe-a-Pierre, that have made people so disheartened and depressed and hopeless. Businesses have shut down. Economic activity has dwindled. And for them, that's no big deal, you know. They came into office on lies and untruths. Never ever forget Emailgate. They come now with Cambridge Analytica. They come with all kinds of nonsense and foolishness. And I will answer some of that tonight. But for them, thousands going home, no big deal, Ambassador. It was no big deal to them. No big deal. Why did you have you going and sell it now? You say selling it to the union, and I'm very happy for the union and the workers. But if you were going to sell it, why close it down in the first place? Why suffer people for this whole year that it was closed with no jobs? For a whole year, people home. When a father gets up in the morning, he has no place to go to work. When the evening comes and the night comes, he doesn't know how he's going to put food on the table for his family and his children. And that man, Rowley, boasting achievement, they have none to show except that they sent home thousands of workers, boasting about some $17 million mansion he built for himself in Tobago. That's your taxpayer dollars. Talking about holding Christmas parties. Well, Christmas is coming and their families don't know where their next meal is going to come from. Don't know. You remember when we were there every year? I went the length and breadth of our country. They used to laugh at me, some of them with this Santa hat. But we were giving children throughout the length and breadth of the country. But he wanted to boast that he built a $17 million mansion in Tobago, and he wanted to hold a Christmas party there in his mansion. What about the thousands of children who will not receive a little gift when Christmas Day comes 2019, Rowley, shame on you, man. Shame on you. Shame on you. They said the treasury was empty, but they found money for the $17 million mansion there. They found money to buy ship and boat without any proper procurement procedure. Imbert shouting up and down the country, running on fumes. They say we spent all the money, but you know what? In that 5 years that we were in government, we invested in people. We invested in our children, 106 schools built. They have abandoned many of the schools tonight. Some of our candidates spoke about them. We built schools. Dr. Bodo spoke about the hospital in San Fernando, the teaching hospital. But he didn't have enough time to tell you we also completed the Scarborough Hospital. We began the Arima Hospital. We began the Point Fortin Hospital. And under these people, them hospitals will never get built. It will take a UNC government to complete Point Fortin and complete Arima. And of course, the Couva Children's Hospital, Dr. Bodo spoke about. We spent money on roads, on drains. We spent money to build police stations, and we didn't just do this in UNC areas, you know. I remember coming down here, I think it's a constituency of La Brea, I don't remember the name of the station, to open a brand new police station. And we did that in many areas that were not UNC areas, yet they will stand and lie on their platforms to say, oh, we only looking after UNC people. We did what we could have done. It is what it is. The record is there, and it will show that we helped throughout the length and breadth of the country. And now, for 4 years, we see they have found money for everything except for the people of TNT. Treasury empty, they say, well, who emptied the treasury, boss? You know, I saw a picture, they bring a box on a platform last night in Grandy, and they put the box on and say that is how $1 million fit in that box? I want to ask them how they know $1 million fitting in that box. How do you know that box on site? What, you measure it and you calculate and you multiply? Somebody must be know, because that body must be get a box with $1 million. So don't come and point fingers at us. Don't point your finger back at us. If you have information who is thief and not thief, take your information and your evidence to where? To the police. Don't stand on one platform and accuse everybody thief, everybody thief, everybody thief. And up to today, 4 years later, the only thief I've seen is one who is now under charges by the government and is not a UNC MP. Under charges by the police. So, they're spending millions on palaces. Children have to suffer. School can't be open. Then guess what now? Here he come again down by Palaseco or wherever, making more promise. You know, they're the most promising government. Huh? Forever, forever promising. Typical Rowley P&M, promises never materialize. So I heard him promising schools now. 4 years, you have not built a single school. You come down Palaseco to fool the people down there. You say you're going to build about 8 schools for 80 million or whatever million. Building school now. When? Coming soon. Coming soon. This is a coming soon. Stay tuned. This is a coming soon government. Coming soon. Well, Rowley, the people are fed up with you and your promises. The only thing that is coming soon is a UNC local government victory. And coming soon after that is a UNC general election victory. And so, they bold-faced, you know. They're really bold-faced. And they lie. But let me remind you of their lies. I was speaking about Petrotrin. So can I ask for the video? Tell me which is the lie and which is the truth. Put your eyes on the screen, please.
So this is an era where people are subscribing to a view that truth does not matter. It's what you can get people to believe that matters. This world is a place now in 2019 going forward
where people are making a career of not speaking the truth, and every item of information has to be checked and double-checked.
But I want to talk to the mothers, the children, the neighbors, and all those who are attached to the Petrotrin business to make one clear statement to you first and foremost. The government is not closing down Petrotrin. And in case you were just opening your fridge and you didn't hear that when you closed the door, let me repeat it. The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
Mr. Espinay, just to clarify the point you made just now, is it that the 1,700 E&P workers would be let go the same time that the 1,700 from the refinery would be let go?
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company, all. So do we get that clear so that nobody has to call me about 10 o'clock in the night to find me? How many of us going again? How many of them going again? All. We get that clear?
You hear Rowley's lie? In his own words, the government is not closing down Petrotrin. Tonight I want to ask, well, who closed it down? Was it the man from the moon or the man from Mars? Who closed it down? The Rowley government shut down Petrotrin. Lied to the people. Lied to the country. They shut down and closed down Petrotrin. They have no shame. Bold-faced. They made a bad decision. I think it's the worst blunder in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, independent Trinidad and Tobago. My friends, now, we are at a critical time. Others have said it, but I want to repeat it. This is a local government campaign, and it is very important. But this is not just any ordinary local government campaign. I heard other speakers, I want to repeat. You see, because we are not in ordinary times. These are very serious times. And we must act, or we can end up worse than our neighbors in Venezuela. Remember, they promised local government reform. Well, again, you hear a lie. That was another lie. But you know, they're blaming me now. God, these people love to call my name, you know. I think they don't get happy unless they call Kamla's name. So I didn't go to Parliament last day. I hear Faris crying tears all about the opposition leader didn't come Parliament. Okay, Faris, your totem feelings is a little banker. You see, because he had to pilot a bill now. And if I'm sitting in the Parliament like he's talking, I have to listen, you know. If I'm talking to Rodney on one side or David Lee, the fellas get real vexed. Real vexed. And when he's talking, sometimes I get up and go outside when he get more vexed. Faris, I don't need to listen to you, boy. I know that that bill was nonsense. He's saying, this is the bail amendment bill. He's saying that the UNC and the opposition leader sabotaged the bill. How did we sabotage it? Because I wasn't there. Well, Faris, where was your Prime Minister? Where was Prime Minister Rowley? He wasn't there to talk or to vote on the bill. So what you're blaming me for is the government's duty to have their members present to vote when the time comes to vote on any bill, and especially for a special majority bill. So don't blame Kamla, don't blame the industry, blame the bad law that you were trying to put into place in that Parliament. We will not support it in its present form. If you will take our amendments, we can give support, but we will not support a bill which says it deems a person to be in possession. So if they find, for example, that you are in a taxi or a maxi or any vehicle, and you are in that vehicle, or your child or your brother or your sister, your mother, your father, husband or wife, any person in that vehicle, and should they find a weapon, a firearm, in the trunk of that vehicle or anywhere else, you know what happens? You are deemed to be in possession, and every man, woman, and child in that vehicle will be taken up, arrested, and put into jail without bail for 120 days. Can that be right? Could never be right. Suppose you have a land dispute with your neighbor or with someone else, and they decide to do for you, as they say. And they just get somebody to plant this thing, pelt it in your yard, and tell you, bros, hey, I see that man Sharon playing with gun hunting boys, go over there. And then they come to you, arrest you, charge you. Everybody knows charge, by the way, you know. Mother, grandmother, nanny, aji, nenen, tanti, everybody will be charged and put in jail without bail for 120 days. Can't be right. This is draconian law. You want to fight crime? We will help you with the fight against crime. But you are totally incapable and incompetent. Your answer is to put everybody in jail. Can we support that? So I said we will support it, but you have to have a clause in that bill which says that the person must already have a previous conviction. So if you have a man already charged, found guilty of an offense, yeah, if it's the second time you find him, the probability is that he may be guilty again, so okay, you could jail him. But when you have no previous record whatsoever, people could spite you, people could set you up, people could plant things, even some corrupt policemen, not all, they could plant it. They could plant this thing in your yard, in your car, wherever you are. It is too dangerous to put that power in the hands of this government and the persons who are in law enforcement. So yes, we will support you to help fight crime, but the person must have a previous conviction. Is that making sense? So that's what he crying all about, that we sabotage. I wasn't going to support it. My members were not supporting unless they took the amendment. So they knew the bill was going to fail. They absconded from the parliament. They had a lot of members missing. They needed only 2 of my members if they were all there. And we had more than 2 in the parliament at the time to make the amendments, but they see they're going to fail. So what they did, they adjourned the debate. And it was so important. When they adjourned the debate, they adjourned to the Friday, election week, the 6th, I think that is. And what they're going to do, this important piece of bill they bring Wednesday this week, bail amendment, no. They're going to do a finance bill. They're always busy when it comes to taxing people and laughing about it. That's a joke for them. You saw the man on the TV just now? When they say all. And he's laughing. All is all the workers, man laughing when he's speaking about it. So I say, lies, and more lies from their platform. The usual tactic, blame Kamla. When they finish blame Kamla, they come back again and says BBK, blame Kamla again. Blame Kamla. That's what they spend their time on. 4 years you're in charge and you're in government, but you're blaming Kamla and our previous government. And so you promise again, don't worry, give us the seats. We will reform local government. Like an abusive partner, they're promising the moon and stars. I won't do it again, and this time I'll keep my promise. That's what they're saying, but when you lie so much and you break so many promises, we must never, ever forget, and we must never, ever trust a word that they say. They said that in local government reform, again, blame Kamla. Blame Kamla, we can't have local government reform. You hear a lie? That is another lie. They brought the bill to Parliament, they sent it to the Joint Select Committee, and it's still before the Joint Select Committee. But they're blaming me and us, Kamla and the UNC, saying we can't do the local government reform because we stopped the property tax. Now, what is the connection? What is the connection, really? Going all about because they failed to keep their promise to local government reform and instead blaming us and now connected to something we did in the courthouse about the property tax. That they can't bring the reform because we went to court to deal with the property tax. Well, look, if I have to do it again, I will do it all over again because I'm going to stop you in your tracks with that property tax because you want to impoverish people in this country. I explained to you why we couldn't take that tax. You have a public servant, a policeman, a teacher like Maximus here. You work your whole life, you build a little house, you build a medium house, You build a big house, whatever house you build, with all your work over the years, and you're retired now. And they want to tax you on things you pay tax for already because you paid taxes on your salary. And they want to put this big tax on you. And then what happens? When you can't pay it because you're retired now, what happens? They take in the house. Take in your house. Whatever size, they don't care. And by the way, Rohan, you don't worry about my house, boss? I hear you talking last night. I hear you lying on me last night about my house. Everybody in the South know we take nearly 20 years, Greg and I, to build that house brick by brick by brick. And it was built before I became Prime Minister. Manning tried that in the Parliament in 2010. So on the public record, on the Hansard, I went in with Greg had a little old notebook. Every time he paid 5 cents, 10 cents, dollars. A whole record over the 20 years we take to build that house. We worked hard for it, Rohan. So you don't jealous my house. Don't jealous my house. But I want to ask you something here tonight, you see. I'll answer you, you know. And you want to see deed and deed and deed, all of that in the Legal Affairs Ministry. Land bought since 1990. I was nowhere in minister and whatever it is, baby. Look, leave them with their lies. Trust me, they're lying. They're lies and they're lies. Let me tell you something more. They repeat their lies. They have done nothing in 4 years to improve lives of people. As I told you, they can be called a coming soon government. Stay tuned. Everything is coming soon. Local reform coming. Legislation reform coming. Crime control coming. Hospitals coming. Schools coming. Siparia Borough Corporation coming. Stay tuned until the UNC gets into office. All these things will happen. They have spent over $240 billion. What can they show for it? After 4 years, this is the first time a sitting government is going into an election with nothing to campaign about achievements. Their only tactic then is to do what? Blame Kamla and the UNC and lie. Distractions. When they come for that vote, ask them what they did for the past 4 years, spending billions of dollars. I want to tell Rowley and his cronies again tonight, you are fooling no one when you lie about saving money on contracts. So they keep talking they save money. Well, how you could save money unless you spend and then you get a saving? The money was never spent. But what they did with the interchange, what they did with this highway, they cut down what is called the scope of works. And then say they save money. You hear lie again? More lies. More lies. Look at Maracas Beach. I know we way down south, but some people do go there from the south, but others do go. They changed the scope of works, and that beach is now a slum. They decrease the scope of works at the Curab interchange. They now line that they save money, but they decrease the scope of works. And I want to ask Mr. Rohan. I don't feel he's Rohan again, eh? He's Roland. Roland. How come it's always his land? How come it's always his land? You mean out of all the bridges to be fixed and built in this country, how come is the one on Rohan land that the Ministry of Works that he runs, that is the one they built the bridge on? That is one when you see the pictures, they shored up the riverbanks. You think that is coincidence? Mr. Roland? Roland? How come for the interchange is who land again? Whose land? Oh, land man, that's the man. I'm renaming him, I'm rechristening this man. He's not Rohan again, he is Roland. So they had no money. And what about the $23 million for rental of properties owned by the AG and his family? Out of all the buildings in Trinidad and Tobago, that is the one building you're going to find to rent for $23 million. Is that by chance or coincidence, I ask? So I'm giving this fella a new name. He's Faris Al-Rental. Faris Al-Rental. The only building you could get to rent was the one that he and his family owns. And what are the people getting? They said they're getting it done. Getting it done for whom? It's not getting it done for you. For you is light bulb and water tank. And man getting $23 million rentals. The minister's wife, one of the minister's wife, how come is her company get these millions of dollars in contracts? Is that by chance? Is that by accident, man? And you want to come to talk about who thief and a thief? Tonight I say this is the most corrupt government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. So we have Minister Roland, we have Minister Faris Al-Rental, then we have a minister with no water and no electricity, blackout everywhere. I think his name is LeHunt. But you know what? I'm not going to rename him tonight. I'm going to stay out of that. I will stay out of that tonight. Not going to do it. Not doing it. So you see, just leave him and his name right there before we get into any trouble. And what about the $100 million for friend, the bestie of the Prime Minister? Closing all of Petrotrin. To do what? The 100 million fake oil. Prime Minister's bestie. You want to talk about thief, boss? Let's talk about thief. Let's talk about thief. Over 10,000 people lost their jobs to save one man. Petrotrin. Again, I ask, who are you getting it done for? Not for the people. Only for the elite friends and family and financiers. Getting it done. Sure right, eh? Laptops, done. Laptops, done. You help me. Schools, done. Hospitals, done. Police station, done. Everything, fire station, done. Food cards, done. Baby grant, done. Cerebral palsy, children, done. The grant, done. Okay. Tonight, Rowley, I say Rowley and the PNM, done. Done. So their entire campaign is about their lies and insults. No plan, no policies, none. No plans, policies. 4 years in government, no achievements, nothing. Nothing of value to people. And they're going around the country crying victim. They're playing victim. They are the biggest bullies in the country, but they're always crying all over the place. Every time you see them, oh God, it's Kamla's fault, blame Kamla, blame them, blame this one, blame that one, blame everybody except themselves. I saw something again last night, but really I didn't really watch them. Somebody take the notes and I read it in the papers what they said, right? This incompetent government, this Rowley regime, most incompetent, greedy, irresponsible government we've ever seen. Man stands on the platform last night and talks about lawyers, berating lawyers, blasted lawyer. I think he said all of them is camp. I think he forgot he has a family member who is a lawyer, by the way. I think maybe he has forgotten that he gave a lawyer, the Faris rental man, $23 million to rent his building. And what they do, they've been blaming the professionals of they blame the poor man, of course. They blame the professionals. Remember, they were blaming the economists when they were talking out about the economy. Now you have lawyers bringing cases against them and winning the cases. You're calling the lawyers what? Scamps, and really insulting them. So what is the reality today that we have in our country? The statistics presented by the Minister of National Insecurity, Stuart Young. For this year alone, 1,121 murders, shootings, and woundings have occurred. The murder toll is currently at about 484. There's hardly a family that has not been touched by crime in this country. I've met so many mothers who have lost their sons to crime. I've met many mothers who have lost their daughters to crime. Mothers, fathers, brothers, hundreds have lost their loved ones. We know that people in this country are worried about safety and their family safety. The government is content to simply throw up their hands in the air and say, that's not our job, you know, that's a job for police. But it doesn't work like that. And when they say it's a job for police, I saw the same fellow who told on all the feelings. I heard him saying last night about we put Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith there. We take a UNC minister. We make, who put him there? Who put him there? They want to take credit for the work of Commissioner Gary Griffith when they themselves under-resource the police service. They will not give the police the resources to do their job properly. But when it suits them, jump on a platform. The other one, Stuart Young, well, he don't even jump on the platform. He just walking on the ground, putting on something resembling police uniform, camouflage, dress up, and walking all over the place. Total incompetence. They're simply, they don't care because they're walking around with security, you know. I think I never thought it was possible for Stuart Young to be a bigger failure than Edmund Dillon. You ever believe that he would have been a bigger failure in national security than Dillon? In 2 consecutive years of Stuart Young, we have over 500 murders in the country. I want you to remember we brought murders down in 2011 to 354, the lowest number since 2005. We heard Dillon laughing at Stuart all over the place. But you see, they do not understand you have to set policies and plans to deal with crime. And today, I want to share something with you before I share some of our plans for the fight against crime. So they lie on the platform. They slander people. They hurl all these accusations. And today, one of our local government candidates for Lopino, Elizabeth, had to file a police report about an incident last night, which is Thursday. Just a few days before the election, this young woman went through a harrowing experience of being threatened, and thugs broke into her vehicle. And this is not the first incident for our candidates. No. A few weeks ago in Granly, our supporters were confronted by persons bearing firearms. This is the type of behavior from the same PNM rowdy crying on platform about who have criminal and who talking to criminal. This is the kind of behavior in their desperation to try to win this election. They know they cannot win, so what they want to do is to frighten you, intimidate you. This time it is different. We are not afraid. We must not give up. We must never, ever, ever give up. We must not give up. Never, ever. So I'll share quickly some of our plans on the fight against crime, because I see that as our first duty of any government. Focus to improve law enforcement and policing. A UNC government will work to create a safe and secure environment for citizens. This is our priority when we return to government. We will work with the TTPS and the Defense Force to roll out our plans for improving crime detection and ensuring crime prevention, so you can feel safer in your homes, your school, workplaces, going about your activities. And how will we do this? We will move to address the root causes of crime: poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunities for young people. A common thread you would find running through all our plans is investing in people through education and training. The people of our nation have always been our most valuable resource. And that is why I believe in investing heavily in our people, and especially young people in particular. We will build on the programs and initiatives we started under the government I led 2010 to 15. And we will work to transform all levels of our education sector. I have told you repeatedly, the only passport out of poverty is through education. The only key to a better quality of life is through education. And since I'm in Siparia Corporation tonight, and I know our candidate for Siparia West is there, Jason Ali, I want to remind him, if they didn't tell him, that I used to walk from Quarry, I live there, walk barefoot to school to attend the Presbyterian school down in Quarry. So that what you see me here today, I wasn't born with wealth. I worked, and the reason I was able to lift myself up and those around me was what? Education. So I urge you, I urge you, Make the best of your educational opportunities. That is the only way to grow. And the PNM's way, CPEP and URP, and look, I see in point, I was told, firing people because they didn't go on campaign, the CPEP people. CPEP and URP is not what you want for your children, man. Can't be. Parents don't want the same quality of life they're experiencing in poverty. They don't want that for their children. They want to have their children uplifted. They want their children to do better. And that way is through education. We created over 55,000 new jobs when we were there. And we did it without raising a single new tax. In fact, we dropped the taxes on the food items, the VAT. But their answer is to tax you into poverty and feel that we will do better. It will not work. And so we will continue with these educational programs as we go forward. We have plans to deal with hotspots, to create safe zones, reintroduce community policing, ensuring police presence, traffic management, and other actions for a systematic, drastic reduction in crime within defined time frames. We will provide resources to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the community. We propose the introduction of community and village coordination officers program, where officers return to walk and talk with members of their communities. This will serve not only for purposes of intelligence gathering and crime detection, but also to build trust in communities with law enforcement. This will be integrated with a technology backbone to ensure that there is a two-way flow of communication between the police and citizens using various social media platforms. We believe that a fundamental principle of modern policing is that it has to be a two-way street, and citizens are more likely to listen if the officers listen to the citizens as well. So what we always say, you listen and then you lead. We will focus on more boots on the ground, ensuring the TTPS is equipped to be present, effective, and responsive in all communities. You will recall when we were in government, we had made a promise to give to the families of law enforcement officers who were killed in the line of duty $1 million. You know, these wicked people up to today, they have not put the legislation for that to come into effect. I want to promise the law enforcement officers that when the UNC forms the next government, we'll put the legislation in place. Put the legislation in place. Some medium-term solutions. We will look at utilizing part of the UWI South Campus for training of our protective services. At this campus, law enforcement officers will be able to pursue certificates, diplomas, undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. In that way, we upgrade the skills of our law enforcement officers. In addition, we will have a new dual-purpose training facility for forensic sciences at that UE South Campus. This will be similar to a training and working facility in evidence processing, and that will be similar to the teaching hospital model. These programs will allow our servicemen and women to build sustainable and fulfilling careers, even whilst they're performing their duty to the country. All members of the protective services should at least have a certificate level qualification before entering service. Those who do not have it, we will train them and we'll give them that training to be better officers. We will introduce legislation to wipe out corruption in the protective services and a special court to deal with corruption in the public service. The rogue element is the greatest hindrance to any administration which seeks to fight crime. We will establish a special unit with local and international special investigators and prosecutors to investigate and prosecute persons involved in corruption in the protective services, in the police force, in the prison force, in the army and the regiment, the Coast Guard. We'll have a longer-term community-based approach that will target crime prevention and community engagement. We will seek to initiate a major cultural change where we move police from a command and control warrior mindset to a partner and guardian of the people mindset. The aim is to develop a mutual respect between police and community, and again, social media platforms can assist in bringing communities closer to the police. We will ensure that all the vacancies in protective services and customs and excise be filled at the earliest opportunity. Again, creating the jobs, but getting a more efficient force. We will operationalize the naval assets of our country throughout the borders of our country. The protective services, police, army, and so on, will be deployed throughout the entire country to have a 24-hour presence of law enforcement throughout the country. A UNC government will take steps to protect all citizens and ensure a safe and secure environment. So, my friends, the end is near. The end is there. And the PNM will take their final curtain starting on Monday and continue into December next year. I say the UNC is not only the best hope for TNT, we are the only hope for our overburdened nation. People have been under constant attack by criminals, reeling from the high cost of living, a taxing government, and uncaring and arrogant ministers. The Rowley regime has done nothing for your betterment for the past 4 years, but they lecture citizens about weaning off the government. Right here in Rosilak, as someone told us before, this wicked Rowley regime has left the Rosilak Hindu School abandoned, a school that is 75% completed. And then they want to come once, twice, 3, 4 times down here in Rosilak to get votes in Otahiti, Rosilak. I tell you, run them on Monday, make sure you vote for Javed in Otahiti, Rosilak. Every single one of our candidates has been received with love everywhere they go. I will right here, when the candidate for Otahiti Rosilak was walking on Paratap Trace, even a madman was crying out for the UNC. Every single person is completely now, no more PNM. PNM, done. But God is a good God. And we will fight this fight, a good fight. And then I say, no weapon formed against us can ever stand. No weapon formed against us will ever stand. Together with your love and support, we shall start retaking our nation, starting right here in the Siparia Corporation. Tomorrow I want to see you at our final rally, grand nationwide motorcade, and all roads lead to Centerpoint Mall in Chaguanas for that mass rally. They believe they can silence us, but we are UNC and we are proud. Come out in your numbers tomorrow. I am told they're blocking up different parts of the highway, saying they're doing road repairs and so on. Don't let that stop you. Take another road, another route, start off early so that we can all join and meet in Chaguanas tomorrow night. We are ready to return to good governance. We are ready to have a team that will get TNT working again. And when the roll is called up on Monday, we will have Dudnat Meru for Avocat San Francisco, Derek Barron Mondesi, Ramona Victor Siparia East San Francisco, Jai Kishun Dukran for Erin, Finba Small will be on the roll of victory for Palaseco, and we will have Shankar Tilak Singh for Cedras, J-Star Gittins for Brighton Vesson, and of course your own Javed Mohammed for Otahiti Rosilak. And when we count those numbers on Monday, we will not walk alone from the Siparia Corporation to victory. We will take with us our candidates from Point 14. Their names will be on the victory roll. Keisha Grant, Captivell, Aaron Joseph Newlands, Brent Clark Tishe, Principal Maximus Trotman, Hollywood, Eula, Roslyn, Kado, Egypt, Remington, Clarkson, New Village, and all the other corporations, the length of Trinidad and Tobago, and in particular on Monday, Trinidad. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Come out early on Monday the 2nd. Put your X next to the rising sun. Remember, you will have another prime minister. You will have other prime ministers. You had them before me. You will have them after me. But you will never ever have a prime minister who loves you as much as I do. I thank you and God bless you. I thank you so much.
Let's welcome Team Work Nation UNC family. Are you ready for victory on Monday? If you're ready, wave your flags. Hey, let's go. Make sure the talk is done now. Time to start back the work now. All the talk done, all the talk done. Work Nation.
Let's get to work again, cause we're sick of them on the line. Let's get to work again, cause the country needs to start.
Let's get to work again. Come on, people that know it's true. Let's get to work again, cause the UNC works for you.
We start the engine, UNC have the plan to build a brighter future. Forward, win